Hey you guys, I wanted to come in live really quick and share some time management strategies with you guys, because I know that some of you are still working full-time, super busy, and you have a lot on your plate. Aubrey Cheyenne. She's doing it on purpose. Anyway, so just a couple of things that I like to do is I like to race the clock. Sometimes I like to race the battery. So what does that mean? Do you need water, Aubrey? Sorry, let me just share that with her. So sometimes what I like to do is I set up a couple of things that, number one, what you should be doing during your power hour. So if you're new and you're like, oh, I don't really know what that means, power hour are things that we do during 1 hour at best. If you can set aside an entire hour, fine. If not, you can break it in chunks, 5-minute chunks, 10-minute chunks, things like that. So things that you should be doing are sending friend requests. Number one, at least 3 to 5 people a day, adding to your network. People that you like, people that you think you would have things in common with, that you would really want to be their friend in person, number one, because your priority is always the friendship. So friend request on Facebook, I usually scroll through and I do it 5 minutes. I go to somebody who I'm already friends with, and then I look at their friends. And I look to see, okay, are any of their friends people that I'd be compatible with? And I add them. So how do I know if I'm compatible with them? So I'll pick somebody from my friends list and scroll. If they have kids, I usually add them. If they have more than one kid, that's usually a bonus. But I look at a couple of things. I look to see how they're like me. Do they have kids? Of course, I usually only add women. Are they around my age? And that's kind of hard to gauge because there are some young girls who look way older than they should. And that's kind of been tricky for me. I've actually added some that are like 19 and they look 40. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But it's just a little FYI. So I look to see if they have kids, and that's usually one of the things that I do. Is I'll check and I'll scroll and I'll read some of their posts and find out, okay, is that their kid, or is that their nephew, is that their niece, is that their sister? So I'll do that. I'll check to see how many kids they like, what kind of stuff do they post on their page. If there's somebody who I deem ratchet, I don't add them. And anybody who's just being ugly, is always talking crap to other people, complaining and ranting on and on about their page, about their haters and all that stuff, I don't add people like that. I also look to see if what their job is. What kind of work do they do? Are they a stay-at-home mom? And now that I stay at home, I do add more stay-at-home moms, but before I did not, because I don't have anything in common with them. And even now, I'm barely getting some common ground with stay-at-home moms, but they don't know what the grind really means unless they've worked before. And most of them that are stay-at-home moms that I have found have never worked before. They don't have to, or they just don't. So I still even don't add them because I've always worked. Like even now, even as a coach, I know that I like to hustle. I like to grind, and I don't relate to somebody who doesn't do that kind of thing. Not to say that moms who stay at home and don't work hard at home, but that's just not my thing. So I wouldn't connect with somebody like that, and they wouldn't be attracted to me either. They'd probably be intimidated, or some of them might be inspired, and if they request me, then that's cool, but that's not, I don't go and seek them out. I look for nurses because I've been a nurse. I look for people who are teachers or have been teachers or work in a school because I can relate to them. I usually look for people who have an education, who have a background, because to me, that's somebody who's a lot like me. Like, I pushed myself to go to school. In the beginning, I just kind of added everybody and anybody, and that blew up in my face because there was a lot of people that were, like I said, ratchet. People who I would never connect with. People who were full of drama and liked drama, like lived in the drama. I don't do that. And even then I didn't. I just kind of added them because they were friends of friends and friends. Some people also like to, add people who have dogs. I have pets, but that's not my thing. they're not a big priority. And if I did, I would add somebody who liked cats, because I like cats. So as you can tell, like, I kind of go off of what I would like, the kind of person who I would really be friends with, someone who I would have things in common with, that I would be able to talk to outside of something just Beachbody. Because when you start making those connections, so this is the second thing you're going to do, is add 3 to 5 people to your network every single day, and then message people privately in Messenger, even on Facebook or Instagram. Yes. She doesn't want to hold the cup. All right. You have a cup holder back there, but okay. The second thing that you're going to do during your power hour is message people. So we haven't gotten to inviting yet. I'll talk about inviting in just a second, but you can space it out. Once if you only have 5 minutes right then and there, you can go in there and scroll real quick and add people that you know that you're going to like. It takes 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be super thought out. Doesn't have to be super crazy. Just think, would I be friends with this person in real life or not? So there you go. That takes like 5 minutes. You should not spend like 20 minutes thinking, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm crazy. What if they don't add me? If they don't add you, then cool, move on. You're gonna find 3 to 5 people tomorrow too, and you're gonna do that the entire month and grow your network that way. So don't worry if they don't accept it. That's fine. If they didn't accept it, then they weren't your tribe. There was something that they didn't connect with you, or they thought, I don't know her, so I'm not going to add her. So what? Move on. Then you're going to send private messages. This, I do take a little bit more time. I would say 3 to 5 messages, especially if you're new, 3 to 5 messages a day. And kind of, again, go through the people who you are already friends with. And if you want to, the people who are newly added to your network, and say hello. For the people who I add to my network, and this usually takes like 5 minutes, I already have a script in place, something that I like to tell everybody. To number 1, let them know I'm not a weirdo, tell them a little bit about myself, number 2, and kind of let them know what I do on Facebook, and that I'm not here gonna be trying to spammy them, but to let them know, hey, if you ever need me, I run challenge groups. I'll share my welcome script to my page in a minute in the comments, so that you guys can see what I sent. And I send everybody who adds me, whether they request me and whether I request them and they approved my friend request. I send it to them so that they're not weirded out, so that they get to know me a little bit, and so that they don't think I'm some kind of spam or fake profile, because that happens too. So that takes like 10 minutes. If you want to count those as your 3 to 5 hey girls, that's what I like to call them, then that's fine. But I also like to do actual hey girls, where I message people that I already know, and I just want to say, hey, how are you? That's literally what I do. Hey, how are you? That is what I say to people. Because you wouldn't believe how many people don't have that. How many people don't have somebody just asking them, how are you? And then you get to know them. How's work going? That's another thing I say. And I know it seems trivial, but I've also been in that position where you're a new coach, or where you're wanting to get people to know that you coach, and you want to start getting that conversation flowing in the direction of them joining you in a challenge group. And the first thing that you want to do is get to know them. So form, you talk about their family. Write that down. FORM. It's an acronym. Family, their occupation. Where do they work? Do they work? You know, for us, if you're all like me, then you probably all work at, or have worked at some point, or are working towards getting work. O as an occupation, you talk about their work. What kind of work do they do? How do they like it? How long have they been there? What made them want to go into that? Like, just kind of investigate them. And some people might be like, oh my gosh, you're super nosy. But, you know, if you're good at conversating, which I was not in the beginning, so know that this is coming from somebody who had to learn exactly what to tell people. I did a lot of Eric Worre trainings, where I literally had to remind myself, okay, let's keep it conversational, kind of take the edge off of them. If you think that they're going to think you're a weirdo for asking so many questions, then address that in the beginning. Address the white elephant in the room. Hey, I know this is super random and weird, but what kind of work do you do? Totally random. I was just curious, but have you ever considered, you know, whatever? And those are words that I had to learn to use. I know that some of you are better at conversating than me, and you're probably like, Rachel, that's useless. But to me, that was everything. Like, I didn't know what to say to people. So I would ask people, you know, what kind of work do you do? I know I may seem super nosy, but You know, I like to make friends on Facebook, and, you know, if I'm being too nosy, let me know. But what kind of work do you do? How many kids do you have? Oh, how old are your kids? The me too factor. Oh, you're a nurse? Me too. That way, there's a connection. People love the connection. People love to find a way to connect with you. If they don't find a way to connect with you, then it's kind of an awkward situation for the entirety of that relationship, and it won't work out. So go for the me too. If you have dogs, me too. What kind of dog do you have? And talk to them about it. So recreation is another thing. Hey, I know this is totally weird, but you know, spring break's coming up. What kind of things do you like to do during spring break? Oh, me too. You like to go hiking? Me too. I don't like taking my kids. Oh, you don't either? I thought I was the only one. There's that connection again. And that's how you just carry those conversations. And when they feel like they know you, they're going to want to investigate your page. When you tell them in that welcome message, hey, this is what I do, this is who I am, inevitably people will scroll your page. Just a little caveat. Make sure that your profile is set to public. If you want to gain more reach and you want people to see your stuff and you want to be able to have these friends requests approve you quicker, keep your profile on public. That way they can see who you are. And I know that freaks you out, but let me tell you, those trolls that you think are going to see your page, they're not. They're going to stay off your page. And you might have some of those haters who like to troll your page. Don't worry about them. They're just haters, and you can block them if they say anything ugly. So just FYI. The next thing that you need to do during your power hour is the one that most people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, is your inviting. And I want you to do your inviting with ease. Know that it doesn't have to be super crazy. Know that it's not that big of a deal to invite somebody. It's literally like to take the pressure off of you. Do not send an invite to somebody who you wouldn't invite to your birthday party. You don't have to do cold prospecting. Like, that's not what we do. If you wouldn't feel comfortable inviting them to your birthday party, then you shouldn't be sending them an invite. You just shouldn't. And what is an invite? What do you tell people? Well, it depends on how well I know them. But for the most part, I tell them, hey, I'm starting a new support group. Would you like to join us? And they'll say, what kind of support group? Or what are you talking about? Or sometimes I'll say, hey, I don't know if you saw my post. Totally random, I know, but I'm starting a new health and fitness boot camp. Would you like to join us? Type that up. Like, that's literally what I say to people. And they'll either say yes and they'll say no. And if they say no, then cool, move on. No doesn't mean I hate you. No means not right now. No doesn't mean fuck you, go fuck yourself. I know sometimes it feels like that, but get comfortable hearing those no's. The more no's you hear, the better, because the more no's you hear, the closer you are to a yes. And like you guys have seen, the calendar is up. We have a clean eating group starting on Monday. So Wednesday you can make a post, and I'll talk about that next. Make a post and invite people there. Hey, doesn't have to be super fancy, doesn't have this crazy graphic or anything. Hey, by the way, if you guys I'm going to be doing this thing where we're learning how to eat healthy for 7 days. If you want to join us, drop your email in the comments. That's it. So there you go. That's adding people to your network. Add 3 to 5 friends. That takes like 5 minutes. Send some messages. Hello. Say hi to people. That takes another 10 minutes. So that's already 15 minutes. If that's all you've got in the morning, then cool. Put it away and don't think about Facebook again. You do your workout, post your sweaty selfie. You should always be sharing something that has to do with your fitness journey, but not icky. Don't kiss your Shakeology and share it on a picture, but share your sweaty selfie. Tell people, at least have that on there. And also share other things on your Facebook. So it doesn't have to take all day, but it takes like 2 minutes to pick a picture that you like, or take a selfie. I like to do photobomb selfie. Just wherever you're at, stop in that moment, take a picture, and make a quick caption. Post it. You want to start posting 3 to 5 times a day on Facebook. On Instagram, if you're on Instagram, once is fine. And if you're on your IG stories, try to make at least 10 IG stories. Just kind of, maybe you're walking your dog. That's 1. Maybe you're making your breakfast. That's 2. Like, it doesn't have to be super crazy. Quick video of your favorite move of the day. That's 3. Like, does that make sense? So that's part of your power hour, is sharing some of that stuff. follow-ups. If you have already sent somebody a message, an invitation, check back in with them. If you send an invite to somebody, remember that this is not their priority. They're not thinking about it 24/7, but you are, maybe. Or maybe you're thinking about it a couple of hours a day more than you used to. So know that your invite might be sitting in their inbox and they never saw it, because Messenger sucks like that. Your invite might have been opened and they looked at it and they're like, oh, quick, get off of the table. And they got a distraction from their kid who was dancing on the table. Or, you know, maybe they're at work and they accidentally opened it and they forgot to reset it to mark as in red so that they could get back to it and be able to respond to you. So check back with them, even if it doesn't look like they've read it. Send them a second message and say, hey, by the way, I'm not sure if you got my last message. Were you still considering joining us? Hey, I don't know. And depending on where you left off on the conversation, just address it. Don't be afraid to address that part of the conversation. Hey, I know you were interested in learning more about what I'm doing to lose this weight. If you send me your email, I can send you some info. Or if I send you this video, would you check it out? That way, you know, that if I would you conversation really kind of has, always leave it with a question so that they have something to come back with you. Okay. If you haven't already picked up the book Go Pro by Eric Worre, I'll drop the title in the comments. Pick it up. This is totally new. I know I've read it over and over and over myself on how to talk to people so that they respond to you, how to lead the conversation. And that's something new that most of us aren't that good at, because that's not how we approach life. People who are take charge usually have this approach down already, and that's something that you do want to get good at. So there's your power hour. Send 3 to 5 invites, friend requests, 3 to 5 invitations to your challenge group or free group every single day. They add up, and the more no's you get, just write them down too. If they said no, that usually means not right now. Don't be afraid to ask them, oh, why not? Is it just not a good time for you? And let that be okay for them. Give them an opening. Give them an excuse, if you will. Oh, okay, that's cool. Is it just not a good time for you right now, or is it just not your thing? That's something that I've learned to ask people, because sometimes it's just not their thing, and you want to let them know it's okay that if it's not their thing, that's fine. They're going to keep watching you. They're going to keep checking it out and seeing what you're doing, because this is totally new to so many people. They don't know what these challenge groups are. So that's kind of what it is. So send friend request 3 to 5 every single day. Grow your network. Send hey girl messages. Talk to the people in your network. Make those connections using that form, FORM. Talking about their friends, their occupation. Get to know them. Like, that is so important. You cannot give somebody advice or tell them to join your group when you don't know anything about them, and that would be a huge disservice to you and a huge disservice to them, because number one, if you don't know anything about them, you're not going to be able to provide value. You're not going to know what they need in their life. You might suggest something that's totally out of the blue, out of crazy. But also, when you don't even spend time to get to know them, then you become this icky salesperson, and nobody wants to be icky. Nobody wants to be a salesperson, and you will get blocked. Like, people will block you. They'll be like, oh, there's that girl again. Block, block, block from my inbox. Don't talk to her. Friends do that. Hey, this girl's sending me a friend request. I've had people do that. This girl's sending me a friend request. Go and add her and see what her page is about. See what she wants. People do that. And you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person who they're like, yeah, you know what? She's cool. She posts all this stuff on her page about fitness and she eats really healthy. You should add her. That's what you want. And you don't want them to say, oh yeah, she just, as soon as I added her, she sent me this invitation to this challenge group thing trying to sell me something. You don't want that either. So, and I've made that mistake. So, learning curve. For those of you who are like, this girl knows what she's talking about. Yeah, you know what? Because I failed and I did that and I was that spammy person and nobody likes that. So FYI, don't do that. Get to know them. like genuinely be their friend. And then when you feel comfortable with them, invite them to your group, because your group is your thing too. Know that too. Like, it's an honor to be in our group. I think it's an amazing thing to be in our group. And I think challenge groups change lives. Know that. Challenge groups change lives. And when you're getting to know somebody in your network, when you're getting to know those people that you add, you're kind of like dating them. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and you don't want anybody who's not going to contribute to your tribe and who's going to make your waters murky in there. You could really very easily just go out and make a sale. But when you let them into your social circle and let them become part of your tribe, you want them to jive with your tribe. You want them to be able to click in the group, and they're going to feel like they belong. And you know what? Sometimes they just won't. But when you've gotten to know these people, they will. And they'll match, and you guys will mesh. And that is how you help people hit their goals. When you have that connection, you can help them, because they trust you and you trust them to be in your group. So it's not just about, oh, get in my group. It's about, would I trust you in my group? Are you going to come in and make things negative? I don't want that. Are you going to be a Debbie Downer in my group? And the only way you know that is by getting to know them, because our groups are like family. So know that if you want this person in your group, you should be ready for them to be like, yes, I would want you to be part of my Fit family. It's an honor to be part of our Fit family. So just know that and treat it that way. Like, you're extending them an invitation to change their life. Like, that's an amazing thing. So don't be like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. This is an amazing opportunity that people are looking for, that people need in their life, that one person that is going to say yes to has been waiting for to come and follow at their footsteps. So get to know people. Send 3 to 5 invitations a day. Again, if they wouldn't make it to your birthday party, or if you wouldn't invite them to your birthday party, then don't invite them to your challenge group either. You're not ready for that yet. What's the last thing? Oh, and make sure that you're posting 3 to 5 times a day. That takes like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes during coffee break, 5 minutes during your potty break, sweaty selfie, and motivational quote. That's it. There you go. And I'll post a schedule or a calendar in here for you guys to get ideas on what to post every single day. But mostly you need to just post on what you're interested in, like things that you like. If you like football, post stuff about football. If you like dogs or you have a favorite pet, then post about that. If you have kids, share about that. That's really what you should be sharing, and it shouldn't be something super complicated. And that's pretty much it. That's your power hour. It doesn't have to be a sit down for an hour straight. I would do this in Power Pockets. I still do this in Power Pockets. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to sit down and be able to have an hour or two when my kids are all cooperating. But most of the time, it's like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, really, really quick. And I race the time. I race the clock. I'll set a 10-minute timer. And once that 10-minute timer goes off, I get out of work mode. I'm completely done. I like to drain my battery, and I'll race the battery. I will wait till I'm 20% and then be like, all right, go. And I will send as many hellos, respond to messages, make my post, and do all of those things that are on my checklist before my phone dies. When my phone dies, I'm screwed. I'm done. So there's no anything. I won't go get the charger and wait for it to turn back on. Once it's dead, I plug it in and I walk away. That is how you get things done effectively. That is how you get laser focused if you do it in those small amounts of time. This isn't a business where you need to work 8 hours at. You don't need to work 8 hours straight to complete this stuff. You just need an hour, maybe 2 a day. That's it. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It does not have to be an 8 hour straight kind of thing. And I know that was one of the things that I struggled with in the beginning, was I wanted to set it up like a work shift. Your power hour is not a work shift. You can break it up as many times as you want. You can put 2 or 3 minutes here, 7, 8 minutes there, 15 minutes there. It doesn't matter. It is not an 8-hour work week. It is not an 8-hour shift or a 2 or 3 hour shift. It's a whatever you feel like you can fit in right here and there. So I hope this is helpful for you guys, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to include that title to the books that I was talking about, and a image for what should I post, just so you get ideas. All right, I will talk to you guys later.